And all our reporters on the ground are joining us at this point. Preeti Chaudhary is joining me from Amethi. We have Indrajit Kundu who's joining us from Asansol, from Baramulla, Ashraf Wani. Baramulla is the last constituency along with Leh that is going to the polls. Also T.S. Sudhir, editor South, and of course from Saran in Bihar. We have Rohit Singh who's joining us. But going to you first, Preeti, in Amethi, clearly the big battle in this particular phase, and Rahul Gandhi arriving in Amethi today has raised the, perhaps given an opportunity to the BJP and Aam Aadmi Party to, talk about how the Congress and Rahul Gandhi particularly are rattled.
Well, they are. There are two ways about that. Because, Maruk, the Gandhis have had a 28-year association with this constituency. Sanjay Gandhi won it in the 80s, Rajiv Gandhi won it 4 times over, followed by Sonia Gandhi, and then since 2004, Rahul Gandhi has won this seat. Never has Rahul Gandhi ever come here on the day of polling. We've seen here today, and primarily why? Because that bears testimony to what's happening on ground here. There is a set in Amethi till now which is still dyed in wool when it comes to allegiance to the Gandhi family. However, there is disillusionment, and it comes from basic issues. It comes from issues like electricity, no roads, no water. Because a lot of people here feel that Rahul Gandhi has been too involved in macro level issues like the food bill, etc. And he really has never nurtured his constituency of Amethi. People have basic issues. You go, 10 kilometers diametrically off the main Amethi town, there are no roads. People get electricity for no more than 3 hours a day. So these are basic, genuine issues that people now want answers to, and they've been given alternatives, because till now, Amethi has never seen a contest. It's always been somebody from the Gandhi Parivar, and that legacy has, carried forward. But this time around, for the first time, it is a three-cornered battle. You have Smriti Irani, you have Kumar Vishwas, and most interesting is, in the year 2009, the polling was about 40% here. And if the polling goes beyond 65%, then Rahul Gandhi has serious cause for concern, and more so as well, Maruk, last time he won for over 3.5 lakh votes. Now that is a stupendous margin to win from, and this time he's of course really worried. What we do know is he's going booth to booth trying to motivate voters. It's back to the studio. We'll of course keep reporting from Amethi.
Okay, Professor Shiv Vishwanathan is also with us. Professor, I want to bring you in at this point. Everybody is saying that, of course, it's only a question of how many votes Rahul Gandhi is going to win by. But do you think it's only about that? Do you also not feel that this time around, the Gandhis perhaps have realized that things have changed? It's not going to be the same anymore.
I don't think numbers have value. You're right. There's a bigger symbolic battle taking place. And there, the Congress looks rattled. Because for a long time, they thought of Amethi as legacy to be passed on from father to son or uncle to son, nephew. But I think for the first time, BJP has brought a brilliant issue. They said Amethi is development as amnesia. And I think by emphasizing this point, Smriti did it beautifully. And look at the way she spoke. She spoke as if she was an individual talking about collective responsibility. Rahul speaks as if he wants the collective to be responsible to the individual. These small inversions makes you feel that symbolically BJP has the upper hand. I sympathize with Kumar Vishwas, but I think when you watch Smriti Irani, you realize that the BJP has created a major battlefront, at least as symbolic theatre. Rahul might have the numbers, but I think Smriti Irani has got the argument.
Preeti, I want to go back to you, because in terms of the way Priyanka Gandhi has been, campaigning for Rahul Gandhi, has that helped Rahul Gandhi, you feel, on the ground, or has it been more of a morale booster for the entire Congress cadre?
Well, it could work in two ways, Maruk, especially when we are talking to the people here. It could work in favor of Rahul Gandhi, because, the Gandhis this time have abandoned old modes of campaigning. This time around, instead of those rallies they used to hold earlier, they're going door-to-door campaigning. We've seen Priyanka Gandhi put her heart, her soul in campaigning for her brother. She'd start at 8 a.m. in the morning, she'd finish the day at about 11 p.m. at night. A lot of people were talking about, when Modi came in, but before Narendra Modi came in with that rally, there was a genuine Priyanka wave, especially in villages that we went to. But now, will that be detrimental for Rahul Gandhi? That could also happen, because many people then started associating this election with Priyanka Gandhi. Many of them talked about Priyanka, but did not talk about Rahul Gandhi. So did she eclipse Rahul Gandhi in somewhat manner? Well, that remains to be seen on the 16th of May.
Okay, we also have Raghav Chaddha of the Aam Aadmi Party. Raghav, as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they tried to create a stir by saying that Section 144 is imposed, which is the natural procedure after campaigning ends. So theatrics till the very last minute, what do you feel your chances are in Amethi?
Well, Maruf, I beg to differ. It is not theatrics. It is a clear case of a demoralized, rattled Congress trying to use everything possible, trying to use now the administrative powers, administrative agencies, which is under the Samajwadi Party government, to physically and mentally harass the Aam Aadmi Party and its candidates. And it is a clear case of making sure that the polling booth management and the last minute motivation levels of the volunteers of the Aam Aadmi Party should collapse. And the very fact that the Congress and the Samajwadi Party and the administrative agencies colluded to act against the Aam Aadmi Party in this manner shows that the principal opponent in the parliamentary constituency of Amethi is the Aam Aadmi Party. And speaking of Mr. Kumar Vishwas's candidature, I mean, he's gone about it in a very scientific way. He's been campaigning and camping in Amethi for the past 5 months. He's been staying there. He's been visiting each and every village, talking to almost every family, explaining the vision and policy that he has for the parliamentary constituency of Amethi. And I believe the first mover advantage that he has, the fast mover advantage and the poetic skills, the love over advantage that he has in this election is far more than any of his opponents in this Lok Sabha election.
Okay, the Aam Aadmi Party being optimistic, wonder where that optimism is coming from.